Hello, my name is Matisse Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about West Coast Avengers. We're going to cover issues 17 to 24, written by Steve Englehart and illustrated by Milgrom. These issues came out in 1987, so I was 6 years old when these came out. And here's where the series just starts to really go off the rails. Like prior to this, there was some pretty crazy stuff. Here's where Steve Englehart, just really goes for it. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, in the prior issue, Hank Pym gets humiliated by Whirlwind, his arch nemesis from the good old days. And so he's really depressed. He's also dealing with the death of sort of his son. There was that good Ultron that wanted a daddy. Hank wanted to fill in for that role, and another Ultron kills him. So Hank is really down on his luck. He's having self-esteem issues. His head is just really messed up. While the Avengers decide to go searching for Firebird, they're going to ask her to join the Avengers once and for all, because they actually chose Thing to join the team, and he was a member for exactly one issue. Not even the whole issue, just a couple of panels. He became an official member, decides not to be on the Avengers, and they sort of shrugged Firebird off, but now they're going to go make amends with her, tell her, join the team, be one of us. So they go to New Mexico, find her. Here's another great moment for Hank Pym. The people that work at the Avengers Mansion in Southern California, Pym tells them how to do their work, and the guys tell him, like, hey, let us do our stuff and go bother someone else. Hank Pym is really depressed. He goes off. So the Avengers are trying to find Firebird. We have Hank Pym writing suicide notes to basically every single Avenger. Like there's a moment we see a stack of suicide notes. And they're confronted by a group of these desert villains. You have an anthropomorphic Gila monster, an anthropomorphic representation of the desert type of woman. I think this guy's called Sunstroke or something like that. It looks like a lot like Stingray. And Cactus Dude, I don't know how he's called, but they battle it out with the Avengers. These bad guys are defeated. They're on the run. Here's that stack of suicide notes I was telling you guys about. I wonder how they got this across with the Comic Books Authority, because you're going to see what goes down. The Avengers chase after these desert dudes. They find this in this secret desert base. This guy, his name is Dominus. He looks a lot like a villain that fought the X-Men called Lucifer, part of the same alien race. They want to take over the world. And this dude, Dominus, just teleports the Avengers away using a time machine, shoots them off to the end of time. He's happy. While Hank Pym is not so happy. He has a gun to his head. Like, I don't know how they got this across the Comic Books Authority. It just really blows my mind. And Steve Englehart, bless your soul, man. You're just a brilliant genius. So, Hank Pym gets stopped by Firebird. The person they went to the desert searching for, she pops up at the Avengers Mansion with this really weird priestess get-up. She's found God. And she saves Hank Pym's life. Avengers end up in the Wild West. They end up teaming up with Two-Gun Kid and that other cowboy character that I can never remember his name. They team up to take down that era's group of Masters of Evil. No, they're not called like that, but you got guy with iron mask, dude with two guns, Hurricane, that's his name. Guy that looks sort of like a lizard dude called the Acrobat. Guy with wings, dude with magnet, fat guy with boomerang. These are really interesting villains, especially for guys like the West Coast Avengers have some pretty heavy hitters. So they decide to help Two-Gun Kid take down these villains. One of Two-Gun Kid's associates is this guy called Ghost Rider. He's sort of sketchy. Things are going to get really bad with him further down the line. So the Avengers take down this group of superpowered Old West villains. And here's a moment that I thought was priceless. There's this monster called, or magical being called Totem, the Living Totem. and he looks like a turd with legs. And so Avengers are able to defeat him, take these guys to justice. They have the idea of using the time machine, since for some reason this time machine is broken, so they can only go back in time. So they decide to go back in time to the time of Ramatut, who was actually Kang, and steal it and use his time machine to go back to the present day. When they do that, Ghost Rider, who's fallen in love with Mockingbird, kidnaps her, runs away while the rest of the Avengers start falling through time. Ghost Rider starts drugging Mockingbird, starts to brainwash her to make her think they've always been together, they've been an item, while we have Hank Pym with Firebird convincing him to get back into being a superhero, see how he can use Pym particles for good. Mockingbird are on the run. She has no idea what went down, while Two Gun Kid and the other cowboy that I can't remember, I think it's Rawhide Kid is the other one, are trying to hunt down Ghost Rider, but he gets a slip on him. And what happens is, in the past, they cross paths with this lady that possibly is a family member way down the line to Firebird's, probably like her great-great-great-great-grandmother, something like that. That's what they think. They give her a note telling for the future, if somebody finds it, where they're telling anyone who finds this note that the Avengers are going to go find Ramatut, try to get back to present day, that they're lost in time. So the Avengers keep on going back in time. They decide to go to Egypt, finally reach there, cross paths with Ramatut. But he's not the same old bad guy. He's sort of like bored in this timeline. He's sort of lost it. So they decide to go further back in time because it's seemingly, I don't remember because I read this a couple of weeks ago. He doesn't have his time machine at this moment. Go further back in time. When they arrive, they get shot and killed. The old Ramatut was just waiting for them. He shoots them. And here we get the reintroduction of Dr. Pym as a superhero. That's his new name. And Moon Knight is going to join the Avengers for the first time. So the West Coast Avengers are left for dead. They're taken to a temple as an offering to Khonshu, so they can just end up dying. Like, I don't remember if they're dead or they're almost dead or dying, but the thing is, they're really messed up. They leave them in this temple as an offering to Khonshu, who is actually the god behind Moon Knight, the spirit of vengeance of Egypt. Bird starting to get her memories back. She's not too happy with this Ghost Rider guy. She's feeling manipulated. While Hawkeye, while he's dying, he communes with Khonshu, the god. So the deal is Khonshu brings him back to life, and they help Khonshu kick out Ramatut. He's not happy with him in Egypt. He's causing too much trouble. Mockingbird regains her memory, and she's freaking pissed off. She's going to make Ghost Rider pay. While in modern day, Khonshu the god tells Moon Knight, go find Hank Pym. You have to tell him about the situation. The Avengers are lost in time. And Moon Knight is actually a really cool character, and he's a really good addition to the Avengers. I really enjoyed his time on this particular lineup. He sort of fills in the shoes for Wolverine on this team. Like, he doesn't mess around. If he has to use lethal force. He sort of counterbalances the really craziness of this series with a serious character. So Dr. Pym, he creates this new flying device that has AI just like an ant, and it can do all kinds of weird stuff. Also, he uses his Pym particles to put stuff in his pocket, and he has all kinds of weird gadgets that are very useful for fighting evil. So we have to also remember the moment of time when the Avengers arrive in Egypt. We have also the classic, it overlaps with the classic Fantastic Four story when they have to battle against Ramatut. Also during this time we have Doctor Strange. Like, a lot of characters are running around Egypt during this time. Origins of Apocalypse overlap with this whole situation going down when the Fantastic Four battled against Ramatut. Like, I'm looking for the image of Fantastic Four, but I swear to God, they overlap. They're somewhere in this comic book here. So we have the Fantastic Four. Like, Marvel should make an event where we have focusing on this moment of history of in Marvel canon, where all the heroes had intervened at some one point of time. And also, that would sort of be really cool to see Apocalypse and Khonshu somehow have their mythos overlap and have something done with that too. That would be sort of cool. During this whole story, there's a really interesting angle that there's a rivalry between Wonder Man and Tony Stark, because Wonder Man's really smart, and they're always dueling with what's the proper thing to do from an engineer's point of view. And so, like, it's a pretty good, interesting rivalry. There's a lot of friction between both of these characters. So, the weird thing is Hank Pym's new costume that looks like the Shadow. I don't know what's... And they're in Southern California, so using a scarf and a trench coat, he would be pretty hot all the time. So, they get confronted by Moon Knight, who tells Hank Pym, hey, I got some news for you guys. I have to tell you something. Hank Pym is a total dick to him. He starts battling. He says, I have to make sure you're the real new Moon Knight, so we're going to battle. Obviously, Moon Knight totally humiliates him. Moon Knight asks Firebird for her Bible that she reads a lot because he's super religious, and she never noted that there's a handkerchief in there with the message from the past. So that was freaking priceless. Oh, the ins and outs of the stories, it's insanely complicated, but the Avengers are able to get back to the present time. We have weird Shadow, the Shadow Hank Pym. Moon Knight decides to become a full member of the team. Also, what we discover is that Hawkeye is the one responsible for Moon Knight's weaponry. He made it for the followers of Khonshu way back in the day when they were in the past. So that's a cool way of tying Hawkeye to Moon Knight's origins and mythos. And the other thing is, Mockingbird really pissed off with Ghost Rider, who took advantage of her, drugged her, and they had a lot of sex. It's implied. She's freaking pissed off with this guy, and straight up kills him. And here's the era. This is during the era of no killing in Marvel, so this was like a big deal. Nowadays, it's something that sounds really stupid, like Avengers kill all the time now. Even Hawkeye, like he has like. It's a very strong contrast with the old school Hawkeye. So, Hawkeye's not like Punisher, but nowadays you can see him drop bodies every once in a while. So, the Avengers are brought back to the present, and they decide to go battle Dominus and defeat him once and for all. The guy responsible for sending him into the past. We see this really weird ship that Dominus uses that looks like a dick, has a mind control device. Take over the populace of the country. So the Avengers start battling against Dominus's forces, these desert dudes. He uses this weird mental ray, but the secret behind the Avengers' victory is Moon Knight's not fazed by these mental blasts and is able to take down Dominus once and for all. Moon Knight is the one to save the day. And with this, I leave you guys. I really hope you like this. In the next video, I'll probably do Black Panther or something like that. So, see you guys next time. Bye.